Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. Welcome. Good to see you. Shout out to a few of you who have hit me up from last night's live. I appreciate that you took the time and you actually watched the live. I know it was great stuff, and I'm actually very pleased that I did do the live because few of you have reached out to me, and so I very much appreciate that. A couple of you I've even actually spoke to. So exciting stuff. Come on, exciting stuff. These are both very crazy times and exciting times. Exciting times for entrepreneurs. If you completely put aside the politics and what's going on in the world and just focus on the entrepreneurship side of it, man, it is a good time for that. Anyway, today somebody asked me a question that nobody had ever asked me, and for a second I had to think about the question, and then the answer I gave him, I even told him, I said, I gave you this answer, but I'm pretty sure this is not the answer you wanted to hear. But so then I modified what I shared with him, and I told him what he wanted to hear. Kind of. So this was an interesting question. So this guy, I don't know him that long. So I've probably known him for maybe 2-3 days, right, on Instagram. And he connected with me. I connected with him. I shared a couple of his stuff, right, and loved on a couple of his stuff. And then he reached out to me, and he said, "Hey, thanks for the love, and I appreciate that." And we started talking. And he asked me a question, and it was an interesting one. And at the time, I didn't think I'm going to do a live about it. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought, this is a good little topic. So, what was the question, right? So he asks me, how long have you been an entrepreneur? How long have you known that you've been an entrepreneur? Think about that question. How long have you been an entrepreneur? How long have you been an entrepreneur? Now, I gave him an answer, like I shared with you, that he was not, I know he was not expecting, and I guarantee you most likely are not expecting. But then, like I said, I modified it and then gave that version as well. It's not like it replaces what I shared. So before I give my answer, think about that question. How long have you been an entrepreneur? How long have you been an entrepreneur? Well, here's my answer. Here's what I shared with them. I said, I would say probably around when I was around 3 or 4 years old. And I'm gonna pause there for a second for you to kind of let that sink in. So I now that I look back, I would say I was probably 3-4 years old. And the reason why I say that is this. True story, okay? True story. So I used to, I think to this day I still enjoy this, but I used to, anytime it was the New Year's, like it's gonna be on Sunday, Persian New Year's is on Sunday. Anytime there was a New Year's or a holiday or my birthday, and people were gonna get me gifts, I would ask them not to buy, and this is a true story, I would ask them not to buy the gift, and however much the amount of that gift was, like the price, I would take that like in dollars and cents. Well, in our country, would be toman, right? So I was probably, I kid you not, probably 3, 4, maybe 5 that I started doing this. And so, some of you know the story because I've shared the story before, but I would, this is funny stuff, but I would ask for all, let's just say it was in dollars. I would ask everybody to give me in $1 bill. So when I would get it, it would feel like it's a lot of bills, you know. And another true story, I used to, this is crazy. I'm telling you, I was like 3, 4, 5 years old. I used to take these and one by one place them under my mattress, and once in a blue moon, I kid you not, once in a blue moon, I would pull all of them out, right? And I would, now this is probably, by this time I'm probably about 8 or 9, right? And I've collected obviously a lot. Now they're all in a pillowcase under my mattress in Iran, obviously. I'm probably 8 or 9 at this time. So I would pull all these out, you know, even by 10, 11, I would pull these out once in a while, and I would iron all these bills because this is so funny. Because one, I wanted all my bills to be straight, flat, and to this day, if somebody hands over a bill to me and it's all like crooked and stuff, it's like, I gotta straighten it up, you know. But for one, it had to be straight, and two, you guys are gonna think I'm crazy after this live, but I used to love the smell of money when it got ironed. That smell, it just smelled so good. And so probably between like 3, 4, 5, all the way to before we came to US. I was 13 when we left. So up until that time, I literally collected all these dollar bills. So before we came to US, I can't believe I'm telling these stories. Before we came to US, I didn't know what to do with these. And it was 2 pillowcases at this point. Like in Iran, it's not like these cheap, tiny little pillowcases. We're talking like these long pillowcases. So I had 2 bags full of money, all ironed out, all flattened out. I think about it and I laugh. And before we came, I didn't know what to do with this, so I just took the two pillowcases like this, and I went to my dad and I said, Dad, here. And he goes, "What's this?" I go, it's money." And then he looked in the pillowcases. I never forget his face. He looked, I was 13. He looked in the pillowcases, and then like he looked at me like I was some kind of a drug dealer or something at 13. And he goes, "Where'd you get all this money?" I go, I just been saving all this, money. So I think I was an entrepreneur at a very early age. That's one example. I'll give you another example. I was probably 7-ish, because at this point I stuttered. I had noticed that I stuttered. I didn't know what it meant, but my speech, it wasn't the same. So probably about 7-ish, I used to take corn. I used to take whole corn, and I would and I would grill it, and I would sell it right by my window, by my bedroom. True story, right? It's probably 7 or something. So I always had that entrepreneur spirit in me. Does that make sense? So when this guy asked me this question and I told him, hey, I was probably 3-4 years old, I am pretty certain he was shocked. He was shocked. You're probably shocked. You were probably surprised, right? But when I said that now, you started to go back in your mind to the first time that you remember that you did something that was entrepreneurship, right? You're thinking maybe you sold Girl Scout cookies. You're telling me that's not entrepreneurship? Although they don't teach you anything to like how to sell the product. It's the same spiel, everybody. I almost stopped by the other day in front of Ralph's and told this crew that you really gotta change your tune. Like, if you really want to sell these boxes, you gotta be different. Anyway, that's a whole different topic. But you started to think and go back in your mind to some of the thoughts and some of the things that you think you did that were entrepreneurshipy, kind of. I don't even know if that's a word, but you get it. So, question, I ask you that question, how long have you been an entrepreneur? Now, remember I said I gave him an answer that he was super surprised, and he, and then I modified it and gave him what he wanted to hear. Well, the first portion was that I gave you, 3-4 years old, and I've always been that guy, right? But I modified it and I gave him this answer. I said, that's not probably what you were expecting to hear, and that's probably what you really didn't want to hear. But what I would tell you is this. I would say 2017. 2016, 2017, that's when I really understood what entrepreneurship is all about. I got it, right? And that's when I started reading books, personal development books. Oh my God. I started reading these books and I'm like, holy smoke. Like, what are these? Where have these been all my life? Jim Rohn used to say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Let that marinate. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. The teacher's always been there. The student hasn't been ready. So, but I started reading, books and getting into like podcasts and YouTube and Audibles and, all this stuff. And it's been amazing, right? But that's when I recognized that, hey, you know what? I've had this thing in me. Dude, what 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old do you know that irons his dollar bills, puts it under the mattress, right? Or sells corn, or I sold a couple other things. I collected stamps and matches, and I collected, one of the biggest collections I had was erasers. I'm just kind of freestyling it tonight, baby. So Yeah. Question. How long have you been an entrepreneur? My answer. Now that I know what an entrepreneur is, probably most of my life. Probably most of my life. However, it takes that point for you to recognize that, hey, you know what? I could do something on the side. I could be an entrepreneur while holding on a job. How do you think everybody else does it these days? I told you, 2025, everybody's going to have a job and a side gig. That's how it's going to be, right? Not everybody's going to have a job, but everybody's going to have a side gig, right? So an online stream of income, right? Something. But so how long have you been an entrepreneur? And if you really think about it, probably most of your time, most of your life. Ever convinced somebody to, hey, buy that shirt because it looks amazing on them? Just sold it to them. It may not be your product, but that's the spirit, right? So I brought this up today because I want you to bring it up to you, to yourself. I want you to ask you, hey, how long have I been an entrepreneur? Have I just been an entrepreneur in my head? Because that's how I've been, I'm going to admit it, for a long time. Have I been an entrepreneur in my head? Or do I kind of really want to be an entrepreneur? Take chances, work hard, work late, work early, squeeze it in between the full-time job, squeeze it in between the family, this, that, whatever you got on your plate, right? But you know what? This is what it came down to. When I was thinking about this live tonight, and he said, how long have you been an entrepreneur? Because I just recently relaunched my online gig, right? I was thinking, and I want you to really pay attention to this. This is important. Entrepreneurship is more like this. Pay attention to this right here. I caught the vision. I caught the vision. I caught it. I got it now. It's way more than just you and I. I caught that vision. And that's what's important. You gotta catch the vision. You gotta see what this is. You gotta see the impact you can have on lives. You gotta catch that vision. You gotta catch that. It's more than just you and what I can do. It's what you can do for so many people. How many lives can you actually impact? Like really, really change. Like, you've seen that quote that says, I want somebody to say they live a better life because they met me. Well, how about if that becomes a reality and somebody actually says that about you? What I'm saying is, you gotta catch the vision. Gotta catch that. That's where it's at. Otherwise, it's not gonna have oomph to it. It's not gonna have meaning. It's not gonna be purposeful. You gotta catch the vision. Enough said. So, question. You ask yourself, how long have I been an entrepreneur? Hey, it's okay if you're not an entrepreneur. Hey, I get it. Totally get it. But are you denying you being an entrepreneur because you're afraid to take risks and take on a challenge? Down deep in your heart, you know what the answer is. Or you truly are just don't give a damn. Most of us, it's because we're afraid to take a chance. We're afraid to go where we don't know if we're going to survive. We're afraid to go in an area where we have no clue what's going on. That's the truth. And you know it. I ask you tonight, how long have you been an entrepreneur? You know, entrepreneur, it's pretty interesting to be an entrepreneur because that's a whole other life. That's another life. I've talked long enough already. A couple nights I've talked a lot, so I'm sure you guys are like, So ask yourself that. How long have you been an entrepreneur? Hey, it could be 10 minutes. It could be 5 minutes. It could be because of this live, something caught your attention. You caught the vision. The vision, man. Catch the vision. Then it becomes like flavorful. It becomes purposeful because you caught the vision. And I think that's what we miss sometimes, right? So ask yourself, hey, how long have I been an entrepreneur? It's when you catch the vision. It could have been 2 minutes, 5 minutes, a month. Then you can recognize, hey, I've had this thing in me for a mighty, mighty long time. It hasn't been 5 minutes. I've actually had this itch. That's why I've tried a couple of things that failed. That's why I did that, right? That's what you're telling yourself, right? So, hopefully, you got some love, some inspiration, some value from this live. I appreciate you guys. Maybe this was a little extended. Maybe I kind of hit you hard. But I did tell you that I'm going to go to next level with my videos, with my... I'm trying to figure out this reel thing with TikTok. Give me a second. Give me a second. Once I get it, I promise I'm going to rock it. But who cares? I'm going to do it wrong until I figure it out. That's what I've... Who cares, right? I do it wrong until I figure it out. Anyway, I told you, if I hit you hard tonight, I told you I'm going to up my game a little bit. I'm going to up my game, man. And hopefully you guys get some love, inspiration, some value. Something hit you. Something kind of spoke to your heart, right? If you feel like, hey, I got to share this to a couple other people, right? Tag them to this. Share it on your wall. Do what you got to do. Spread the love. Drop your feedback below. Let me know. Hey, let me know. How long have you been an entrepreneur? Drop your answers below. Let this feed grow. I appreciate you guys. And remember, if you share, you show that you care. Until tomorrow, we're going to do it all over again. Much love.